decides to open up here. We've got a scatter shot on Mercy, cheap shot onto Zeepai, big kidney shot as well. See if they can get the damage out. Stun into trap potentially here onto Asgoth. They get the full crowd control. They blind the trinket. Beautiful setup here by the Fiends. This game could just be over in the opener. Zeepai incredibly low. He manages to get away. Big heals coming in. 1% health. Are you kidding me? Can he actually survive the sap on Asgoth into the shadowy duel? And Zeepai is done. The Fiends just looking devastating on that Thug Cleave.
Damn, what a nasty setup from the Fiends, man. That was really well done. And that's what those rogues can do to you sometimes, you know, being able to actually really harass the healers there. You know, it's into him, into trap, that's pretty much unavoidable unless someone is there to actually really break that up. There's nothing the Druid can do about it. Instinct Stun coming out, you know, that's going to be layered with the trap. He triggers that, he's instantaneously blinded. And then out of the blind, he's DR sapped. Out of that, you're going to be cheap shot, kidneyed, gouged, dueled. There's so much lockdown that rogue can do. And his job at that point is no longer killing the Ellie, who's down so low with no hots. It's all up to the hunter. It's all up to the priest. Zeepai did the best he could to actually try to gate out of there, to try to create that bastion of safety, you know, create that distance for himself, but wasn't really able to do it, unfortunately.
Rat was just so quick. I honestly, I'm becoming a Rat fan from watching these games. Like, when you see the beginning of this, you can see the stun into trap. Asgoth's like, okay, well, I have to trinket or you're just
Instant
dead. So
blind.
it's an insta blind. Exactly. I love that. They managed to get the Iron Bark. They get the wall. And then look at Rat. He's just sitting there babysitting. He's on babysitter duty for Asgoth, sapping him again, shadowy dueling him. He's trying to trank, but sorry, that's not going to be enough. So really, really aggressive start coming in from the Fiends. And this is basically exactly what you want. And that's one of the scary things. I mean, they just have such an overwhelming amount of burst. If Asgoth decides to kind of not pre-hot and sit in stealth, which you kind of have to, if they get enough momentum, it can just be so difficult to recover in the situation.
Yeah, it can be really difficult. But I'm going to be honest, if you're getting CC'd that fast out of stealth anyway, as long as someone from your team can get in combat with the priest, maybe you should just come out. Like, have just full pre-hot Zeepai, pre-hot yourself, and you know, like even if they're going to try to like open on Azeroth, if that's what you're worried about, then that would be a problem. Of course, your team has to be in combat first, because if you get sapped as the Druid, then it's just going to be lights out. But maybe you do have to come out. The other option, and this may sound a little bit troll, but if they're going to be CCing you that quickly coming out of stealth, and he doesn't feel that he can just stay out and pre-hot, your first global may need to be Overgrowth. And just like get like full pre-hots out instantly, right? You come out of stealth, you Overgrowth, you put up the Rejuve, it's going to put up Wild Growth, it's going to put up Regrowth Hot, it's going to put up Life Bloom. If you do that in Iron Bark, like first global, then at the very least, even if you get instantaneously CC'd, you have full hots. And if they want to try to like wait 3 or 4 globals to actually dispel all that off before they start the CCing, then you can be reapplying Rejuves and actually like, you know, getting some healing rolling there. It gives you more of a time to react. I think the difficulty for Asgoth is just how quickly that CC was actually, you know, coming across, because he wasn't really having the globals to kind of get done what he wants to get done. So it may be that he has to really just be willing to either come out early once, you know, Mercy gets in combat, or just first global, you know, pop out the Overgrowth, slap down the Iron Bark as soon as you know that CC is coming in. And see if that can really buy your time that you need, because you know, even if the Fiends try to like wait that out and full dispel, I think that's buying a lot of time for Zeepai and Mercy to try to get things rolling, and that could put the Fiends on the back foot.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a good time to also shout out the AWC companion. You saw it on your screen just a little bit earlier. You know, with Dragonflight just coming out, obviously these tournament players are experimenting with their gear, their talents, and if you want to see what exactly they are running, you can go to awc.gcd.tv. And we are going to be getting into game number 3. The Fiends with a very quick game number 2 victory, tying it up here. The large map has been selected here by the agents, but we'll see if that backfires on them. We get the sap here on the Mercy. Once again, Rat's going to be opening up on a Zeepai. Let's see if they can have that same kind of start. Immediate stun, but that's that Iron Bark you were talking about. Instant Iron Bark coming in from Asgoth, and that should help Zeepai, you know, buffer through a lot of this damage.
And it looked like he actually did exactly what I was talking about. I think he overgrowthed out of stealth there, because I saw a Wild Growth on him, I saw the Rejuve, I saw everything up there onto Zeepai. So Zenlin in a lot of trouble now. The Angel's going to have to be popped there, trying to stay alive. Will get back behind that pillar, going to be able to heal himself back up, but a much better start for the agents. And now the pressure is on the Fiends to try to get something recovered here as Rat almost gets burst down. This Pit Lord army is just slaughtering the rogue behind the pillar. The MD is going to get dropped down to try to get them out of there, but Zenlin is struggling. Rat just can't get away. This is a fully stacked Pit Lord there that now finally expires, but they are heavily on the back foot, and they didn't even get the trinket off of Asgrath. They're going to go in with the kidney shot. The bomb comes down, but Zeepai's just chilling. He's not even going to feel pressure to trinket there. Neither is Asgrath, who's now going to be into that scatter. Can they have any CC to come off of that? It will be a go. It looks like he's just trying to lock him down, but Big Max is in a lot of trouble. I don't think Zeepai is going to be the one falling behind here. The Shadowy Duel is going to get popped to try to pull Asgrath out of this, but it's Big Max who's getting really, really low.
Yeah, that's a Ray, and it looks like he will get some heals there from Zenilin, but it's been really difficult for the Holy Priest. The good news is they did get the trinket from Asgrath with that last attempt, but Zeepai, he has his Astral Shift. He has pretty much everything he needs to survive, and you need to somehow get the crowd control onto Asgrath. There's going to be a full trap potentially coming in here. Can he ground it? No, he cannot, and now Zeepai is going to be forced to use that Astral Shift, but at the same time, Rat is getting incredibly low, and he has to retreat. But they're slowly working through these cooldowns. Asgrath has no trinket. Zeepai has no Astral Shift. He's only going to have his trinket to stay alive. So the Fiends, it's not looking that great, but there still is some win conditions here.
Yeah, there is some hope. We'll see if they can really get it going. It's going to be up to Asgrath to get the Ironbark down before he gets CC'd. That's going to be the key thing, because Ironbark has now rotated up. The first go was Ironbark. The second go was that shield wall, and now it's up to Asgrath to get that back up. But he's going to be in stealth very likely. He's over in cat form. I can't see if he has stealth up, but I'm expecting that he has. He just needs his teammates to be harassing here, playing really, really far back, so he has the ability to actually respond to that. Rat now going to get into that Demon Stun. Here comes the trap. Is it coming out? He couldn't pre-Ironbark it, so Zeepai could potentially be in some trouble, but it looks like Rat doesn't have the confidence to move forward. And if you have to run away on these goes, you're not going to be able to get anything done. And it's Big Max now, who's just getting Lightning Lasso down very low. Is going to go into the turtle. Was back to full HP there, but Rat may fall. He's in a lot of trouble. Going to get gripped back to the pillar. Going to try to recover, but the pressure is so heavily in the favor of the agents. And it's only 20 seconds until Asgrath has his trinket. And at that point, I think it's lights out.
This is just exactly what you want if you are the agents. It's just one at a time coming out. Rat comes in by himself. Big Mix comes in by himself. Big Howl of Terror coming in there by Mercy to disrupt the go. And I think this game is about as good as over. Big Earth Shock coming in from Zeepai will seal the deal. And, they had a decent start for the Fiends. I think Asgrath played it really well, getting that pre-overgrowth and Ironbark, like you mentioned, to really slow down that initial damage. And it just seems like if they don't get the initial kind of momentum and cooldowns out of the way, then the agents are just going to be walking away with this. The amount of pressure that they have is just really throwing them off.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he did overgrowth in game 1 and they just didn't see it, or if it was an adaptation from game 1 to game 2, but definitely looked like he used overgrowth there, because he had the wild growth hot up, he had the regrowth hot up, everything instantaneously. And if you can get that up with your Ironbark, the amount of healing you're going to be doing is just so high, right? Because you're getting all those hots up. Druid Mastery, which every Druid is just fully stacking Mastery, increases the healing based on how many hots are up. Life Bloom counts as 3, but having, the double rejuve, the regrowth, the wild growth, all of that up, plus the amped 20% healing with that Ironbark just means the opener is going to be pretty much completely negated. And, for Resto Druids, it's kind of like a battle of globals, right? If you don't come out with something like the overgrowth, all your hots are going to get stripped off. It's going to be PI dispels, and then you come out of CC and you have to do that job of getting all the hots up again and trying to really recover. So I think it's really intelligent the way that they actually played this out. And then Asgrath just playing 40 yards away, is going to give him that time to always be able to react. When Big Max comes off the pillar, when Rat comes off the pillar to try to push that 40-yard distance onto Asgrath, he's always going to be able to have the ability to actually respond to that, as they are trying to close the gap.
Yeah, this seems like a rough matchup. I wonder if they actually mix anything up, because that game number 2 looked really good for them, but I feel like there are ways for Asgrath, Mercy, and Zeepai to kind of deal with those all-ins and the pressure. It just seems like Zenilin is on such a time limit with that Holy Priest. The way he's spending his mana, they're actually going to opt for a really small map with really small pillars. So this is a map that could easily backfire here for the Fiends, but I feel like they need to win fast, and the small map is going to allow them to do it, but it's a risky move just because it seems like if they are stacked up on these small maps and there's nowhere for them to run and hide, Zenilin is just dying in the opener, and we saw Rat also just dying to these demons. It does not look easy.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. I'm not sure, right? It's one of these things where it's like, I don't know this matchup that well, right? There's not a lot of people playing Thugleave in NA, so it's not that I can say, oh, they should just train the Warlock. But they are getting destroyed by Nether Portal, right? Like if Warlock gets to get the max like 20 shards spent Pit Lord, that Pit Lord does so much damage if it's not CC'd, right? And I'm so used to playing against only healers who perma CC your Pit Lord and it doesn't hit anything. But like we're
This
seeing,
matchup, it seems fun, right?
yeah, it's crazy. It's like if you're gonna ignore the Warlock and he's getting a full stack Pit Lord, Zenlin is struggling to heal through it, right? Like he's low, Rat's behind the pillar. They're having to spend cooldowns to heal through this demon army that's back there, just chopping them up. So it makes me feel like maybe they could try potentially to go on Mercy, but they're on such a time limit that would be really, really difficult because Warlock has Port, Warlock has, like Petsack and all these additional cooldowns that are going to make it really, really difficult. So I'm not sure that it would work out, but they've definitely got to be able to find some way to really kind of get that perfect opener and try to counter what the agents are doing here. Because if you can't get that go immediately, I don't think you can really get a momentum as this Thug Cleave. But at the same time, if he's going to overgrowth Ironbark out of stealth first global, you can't do your go into that. It's never going to work.
Yeah. It's too much damage reduction. It's too much healing. It's just, yeah, it's really difficult to deal with. But I just feel like this comp that the Agents has is just super good. They have so much disruption on the Demonology Warlock as well as the Elemental Shaman. There's so many times where we're seeing Rat kind of shadow step in for a kidney shot, and guess what he's met with? Thunderstorm. Goodbye. And then right out of the stun, it gets knocked away too with the Unleashed Shield from Z5. So exactly. It's just, there's so much that they have to deal with here. I wonder if they try to mix it up and potentially they go after the Restoration Druid instead, just to kind of throw them for a loop.
Oh, they found the Druid in stealth.
Beautifully done. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Yeah, there's no hots out at all now that on Zeepai. He wasn't able to get that overgrowth because he actually flared him out of stealth, but the knockbacks come through. And the CC is there, and now the lasso is going to get dropped. Mercy going to be dropping the Nether portal here immediately onto Rat. They want to keep this pressure rolling. Zenlin going to have to go into the Angel form. Even with that opener, they really couldn't get anything done, unfortunately. A nice interrupt on the Demonic Tyrant, so he's trying to buff up that Pit Lord, couldn't actually get it out. We'll see if he uses it now, but Mercy's going to get scattered up. Asgrath already in the tree form. He does have those additional hots coming out here. Zeepai into the kidney, but there's lots of hots on him. Zeepai doesn't seem like he's in much trouble. And in fact, it's Zenlin who's really getting lower on the other side. Asgrath's going to be thrown into a trap. He's going to be DR sapped off of that. Still doesn't have his trinket, but Zeepai getting very, very low. We'll see if he can pick him back up here with a potential NS. The Tranquility is going to get dropped. There's a Smoke Bomb and the Shadowy Duel, so he's keeping him away. Zeepai's getting very, very low. Now a cheap shot onto Asgrath. DR Kidney, and Rat's going to step over here, try to finish him off, but Zeepai, he's going to gate right back to him. The spam fears coming through from Mercy are huge, but Mercy's going to get kicked, and Zeepai is staying so low there. The silence is over on Asgrath, but the Ironbark is out. It was saved this whole time, and with that Ironbark there, I don't think they're going to be able to finish him off, and now it's the Fiends that are in so much trouble.
Yeah, they're stacked behind the pillar, but Big Mix is realizing they need to make a move. He's going to push forward, gouge right now into Mercy, and they're splitting up. They do not want to get AoE down. I like the positioning coming in from the Hunter. Right now, Zeepai has a lot of damage loaded up with that Stormkeeper. If he can actually land it on someone, it's going to be big zaps here on the Big Mix. Can he take him down? Big Earth Shock. Any shot, but Zeepai actually trinkets out. Kind of aggressive, trying to get the grounding totem on the trap, but isn't able to find it. Big cheap shot, but it doesn't look like they have the damage just yet, but maybe there's no healing available for Asgrath. At the same time, though, Rat gets feared away and blasted. Could easily fall. He's on death's door right now, and he will get taken down. Nice setup there. Nice feels coming in from Mercy. He did a great job with the spears and stuns, denying those setups. Yeah. And although that was a really close call, the Agents, I think, played that really well defensively.
Yeah, they did a really, really good job defensively. I think Mercy is especially, on that initial go, I thought this was potentially going to be a Thug Cleave win when they actually found Asgrath in stealth. Like, that is pretty rough when you get found in Cat, stun trapped in Cat. So 0 pre-hots out, nothing going. But the very first couple seconds of the game, like, that's where they would have wanted to get that panic trinket. That's where they would have wanted to really get that everything rolling. Because on this go, imagine if they had forced the trinket on the previous traps and stuff out of stealth. But unfortunately for them, they didn't get anything. And Ironbark wasn't even used until super late. So, as soon as Asgrath got out of all that CC, it was never going to be a kill on Zeepai because he still had a lot left there. He had the overgrowth. And at this moment, coming out of the trap again, overgrowth off cooldown. You'll see he pops around the corner and there's overgrowth onto him. All the hots are up. Sen ward's up as well. And you're just not going to be able to actually kill through everything there. And Rat was just way too low. Would be fun if we could to actually see those very first seconds of the game again, because to me that was the key thing, was how little the Thug Cleave got done in the first 10 seconds of the game. Because that is really where they wanted to capitalize on finding the Druid, but they couldn't get anything. They didn't seem to force any trinkets, no walls, no anything in those first couple seconds, and I think that has to be credit to Mercy for just throwing down so many peels.
He really did a phenomenal job, and you can see on the damage meters as well. Damage meters aren't everything, but You can see Rat on that subtlety rogue. If you're not getting the setups, he's going for a lot of CC and just trying to deny incoming healing and letting kind of Big Mix carry there. But it can be really, really difficult. I feel like that's the thing, is makes it so difficult for them to actually train down a target. And I think the agents just have the perfect composition, because what the Fiends want to do is they want to do hit and run, right? They want to go in, they want to get the control, they want to get the burst, and then they want to kind of get a reset. But with the way the agents are playing and the way Mercy is getting pressure out, it's just really that. So unfortunately for the Fiends, that does mean they are going to be eliminated. The agents will press on through that lower bracket. And I think, you know, Zico said it at the beginning of the day, this is one of those teams that is a potential favorite to win the entire thing. A really powerhouse roster, so we'll see if they can do it. You know, any of these teams in the upper bracket that are going to drop down, that's not, you know, a team you necessarily want to fight. But for the Fiends, I think a top 4 finish is really good for them, and hopefully we can see them again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, as far as I know, Zenlin is just like a Holy Priest only guy, so it's hard to say like, oh, like what adaptations they could make, because it did feel like a really tough matchup, right? And you want to say like, like swap it over to the rest of Druid, you know, mass entangle on
Not
the
gonna happen.
goes, but it's not gonna happen, right? So you know, maybe they can make some sort of adjustments for future, because it did feel like a really tough matchup, right? Like their windows were so few and far between, it felt like, to really get something done. When the Warlock has that much freedom. And I really do like the pivot over to Halotare. I felt like Halotare was so key in a lot of those moments. And also just not wasting Fear DRs, I think, is really, really important in those types of matchups. Sometimes it can be tempting to just like be pressing Fear all the time. But, you know, against these comps, you don't want to waste your DRs until they have a go. So I think Mercy, you know, really did that intelligently, and Agents picking up another dub. It's looking good for the Demo Warlock alley. Seems like a pretty strong comp.
It definitely doesn't seem bad. I had a friend message me, and he was like, yeah, I'm sure glad there's not that many good Ellies in North America after seeing that. Like, he doesn't want to have to deal with that. But yeah, it is really interesting. There are some players in North America that have been kind of playing a lot more of the Elemental Shaman. I know something that Prev is kind of expanding to. You know, normally he plays the Shadow Priest. He's also kind of known for his Ret and, of course, his Moonkin. But now picking up the Elemental Shaman as well, it seems like a really important role. Just the amount of damage you have and disruption, super meta right now. And I think it's one of those things a lot of these teams, especially in North America, are going to have to start picking up and experimenting with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ellie is just so strong because damage never really stops, right? Like there's some classes where it's like you have to be worried. It's a Demo Warlock. You have to be worried during Tyrant. You know, if it's a Frost Mage, maybe you have to be worried about like a Glacial Spike, or when like you know, Orb is down or whatever, right? Like there's certain windows. For Ellie's, it just feels like you have to be scared always, and I think that's one of the things that's really difficult about them. They have a tremendous amount of utility. They can, you know, pop out so much instant burst at really any time. And it allows, like, you know, even in the previous series when we were watching these guys, you know, you can see games where it's like the Warlock can be completely locked down, you know, doesn't even get a Tyrant off the whole game, but you can still win because the Ellie can just solo someone, right? Like you just have to be there for that disruption and that CC and be able to kind of like set the Ellie up for success. So it definitely is a difficult, you know, comp to stop. And even in this series where the Ellie is trained start to finish, he was top damage in every single game, right? So it's very, very difficult to actually shut down like an S tier Ellie shaman like Zebai.
And we'll have to see. I mean, CGN Esports in this next series, they have 2 of Europe's best Elemental Shamans on the same roster. They got Swapsy and Jamie. We'll have to see if they actually implement that Shaman and how Team Huhu is going to deal with that. We'll be able to see all those answers and more right after a quick break.
cute critters will smooth the rough edges.
What up, Nike Shirts? Sgu bare pils, mate.
Three, two, one.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here with the second series here in the European region, and I'm here joined with the wonderful Azel once again. What's up?
Yo, doing well, man. I'm excited. I'm here. I have my EU correspondent, you know, tell me everything about these teams, about what they're going to be throwing down. But if you guys don't have that, you should check out awc.gcd.tv, where I'm looking at all their specs and gear and everything like that. So it's pretty interesting to see the adjustments that people are making. This is something that, like, I'm going to copy, right? Maybe I'll play Halander if I play against Duckleave now. So I think it's definitely fun to follow along and see that. So definitely check it out. But I'm excited for this next series. What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. These are the two undefeated teams here in the European region. We got Team Hoo, which I would say in terms of AWC is a little bit less experienced, but very, very well-known players in the European scene on the ladder. Even in tournaments in the past, some of them have been competing. So it's definitely been a strong roster kind of coming together here. Primarily running that Warlock, Ellie, Druid, which is basically what we just saw from the agents. And then we got CGN Esports, of course, Swapsy's new roster, which did knock down Foggers down to that lower bracket. And they've just been looking absolutely bulletproof. A really, really scary roster on that side. And you can see here their social medias, and some of the players are streaming, guys. So you can see that purple little thing, that little Twitch mark. Go follow them there. I'm not sure if CGN is streaming right now, but it's a good way to find out. Go check them out and hit that follow button. And yeah, this is the roster. Swapsy, Blizzle, Clyde, and Jamie on that Elemental Shaman. Probably, I don't know if Jamie will be tagged in. He could be tagged in. And Blizzle hasn't really been playing his Warrior, which is his main. He's been mostly rocking that Demon Hunter so far, so not too many Warriors. Been a lot of Cleaves, been a lot of LA Shamans, and a lot of Warlocks as well.
Yeah. There's a lot more Warlocks, it seems like, in the EU. Okay. Well, I don't know if it's because there's more Warlock players or because there's more Ellie players. Because it feels like the only thing anyone's playing is Ellie Warlock, right? It's interesting. There was like so much shadow play in NA prior to the Shadow Priest nerf. When those came through and some of the demo nerfs, we haven't really seen that many Warlocks. So it'll be interesting to see, exactly what they do want to bring out. I don't expect Lizzo to bring out the Warrior, maybe after the next patch. I think with a lot of the kind of S tier melees getting nerfed, then Warriors may rise in prominence a little bit. But it's going to be interesting to see exactly what they want to bring out. And it's fun to see guys like Swapsy, who, like, I literally competed against like a decade. Right? Some of these players have been playing for so long. Obviously in NA we have some of those players like Sidu and guys like that. And here we have guys like Swapsy and Waz and whatnot who have been playing for so many years now, right? That it's like, I competed like a decade ago, and I used to play against these guys in tournaments, and they were, Swapsy was a veteran back then, so he's definitely got a lot of games under his belt.
Me?
Yeah, I think Swapsy was on like Existence back then or something like that. Really old. He's been around for a long time. Obviously had a lot of success. I think he's won 3 BlizzCons, so Swapsy looking to have another dominant. Definitely not. Looking to have another dominant year here with CGN, and I mean he's built a fantastic roster. You know, a lot of teams, you're looking at the agents, you're looking at poggers, really stacked lineups, but CGN as well, they have a lot of experience there, and it's kind of interesting to see that Swapsy, he's been known a lot for his Death Knight, his LA Shaman, he's playing Warlock as well a lot, but now they got Jamie on the roster, which is, I would say, I don't want to say he's a one-trick LA Shaman, but that's definitely what he's the strongest at. So it kind of lifts a bit of a load from Swapsy and allows him to just focus on that Death Knight, focus a little bit more on those other classes. So it's nice to see actually, and they are going to be leading here with their strongest comps on both sides. We're going to see Team Huku actually running the Demon Hunter Ellie Resto Druid, which we saw on Friday, and we are also going to see Blizzo, Swapsy, and Clyde rocking that Demon Hunter DH.
That's going to be really interesting. You have to think Frankie's going to be targeted here mostly, but I'll be interested to see if they can get Vanos involved and really get aggressive on him as well. It's going to be so much about these setups, and there's the grip coming in, but a great stun on Swapsy immediately, so Vanos is able to just walk out scot-free. No problem whatsoever. Great setup and denial there from the team of Huhu, but Swapsy already having used the IBF, the AMZ, and the AMS all coming down, so Swapsy's just rushing through these cooldowns incredibly quickly there. Frankie trying his best to create some space, and Vanos already in the back in that tree form, trying to keep his team topped up as much as possible. It's all going to be about this damage onto Frankie. You can see Darkness going to get dropped, but Swapsy's in so much trouble. He's down to 20% HP. Will get picked up back there by Clyde, who's going to have to drop the Emerald Communion. So both teams really ripping through these cooldowns fast, but it's Swapsy, it feels like, that's in the most trouble.
Yeah, Swapsy also used his Dwarf Racial right there, so he's got no trinket for a couple of seconds. He's got no Icebound, and he also had to use that AMZ, so a lot of pressure coming in here onto Swapsy, but he does have the Death Strikes, he does have Lichborn currently active as well, so a lot of self-healing coming out here. Frankie trying to load up a Stormkeeper, trying to get aggressive right now, and Clyde as well, having to use that Emerald Communion so early. It's going to be really tough for him to keep his team alive. Swapsy dropping to about 50% HP. Blizzo with a nice triple Chaos Nova, looking to reverse the pressure here back onto the Ellie Shaman. And Frankie, he doesn't actually have his Astral Shift. Existence as well, taking huge damage right now, dropping super low here. Does have the Nether Walk, but he's trying to hold it. He doesn't want to overlap it with that blur. And now, again, a lot of pressure on both sides here, Azal.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing such a good job of actually stopping Swapsy on these grips. So every time Swapsy grips in Vanos, they're actually just stunning Swapsy. But now he gets the triple blind. Then are they going to be able to find the setup off of that? But it's actually Swapsy again that's just getting knocked away here, not able to find any of that follow-up damage. Huhu is really denying all of these goes here from CGN. They're doing such a good job with that, and Swapsy that is still under this unrelenting pressure here. The Shroud is up for Clyde. When that expires, maybe they can land some CC and try to finish off Swapsy, who's had to trinket. The AMS is almost back up here. Existence on the other side getting really low. He has the Netherwalk. He may have to use it. He's down to about 20% HP. The Netherwalk will have to be popped. Unfortunately, it's overlapped with the Iron Walk there from Vanos. So Vanos is going to be running really low on CDs. He does have Treeform again. There's the grip. There's the AoE stun onto Vanos. It's Blizzo now gets getting low. Swapsy's into a stun. He's down very low as well. Clyde could be able to pick it back up, but Clyde is almost out of mana, and we know this pressure is not going to be stopping from Frankie anytime soon. But Swapsy down to about 50%. He's got the AMZ coming back up right now. Going to get knocked back out of it, and you can see that static field totem trying to keep him out. He's stunned outside of it. It looks like just able to dip back in now. But Clyde is tapped. He's completely Vanos going to get gripped in, but there's the stun again onto Swapsy. He's not able to actually get the follow-up onto Vanos whatsoever. The Incap comes over onto Swapsy, and it's Vanos trying to keep Frankie alive. He's almost tapped as well, but Clyde, he's dead and Swapsy looks like this could be it.
Swapsy, how is he going to stay alive here? He pops the Antimatic Shell, trying to stay alive, trying to get back behind the pillar with Clyde, but that means Blizzo is left in open field here to tank it out. Vanos also running on fumes at this point, pops the Tranquility, resets some of those cooldowns, but Blizzo might be going down right now. He's got nothing, 3 seconds left on that blur. The hunt comes out from Blizzo, trying to take down the other Demon Hunter of Existence, but Blizzo forced to run away. gets a shield there from that rescue, but Swapsy now in midfield, has the Icebound Fortitude, has a couple of Death Strikes, but that is about it. He gets stunned up. There's the Icebound Fortitude coming out. There's the Death Strike. Swapsy trying to kite it out, trying to stay alive, but Clyde with nothing left in the tank, and everybody on Team Hoo looking so good right now. Clyde getting kicked there on the Nullifying Shroud. Swapsy with another Death Strike with more healing here, just trying to keep himself alive. The Gargoyle also getting popped there. Existence, this is their goal on the side of CGN. They need to take him down. Can they do it? Blizzo gets stunned up. He's got nothing as well. Anybody could fall at this point, and I don't know how Frankie actually is going to stay alive here as well. He does have the Astral Shift, does manage to pop it there, and he should be fine with that button, but Vanos is completely tapped here, and somehow Clyde, despite being has been able to keep his team in the fight to the bitter end, but it could be Swapsy now falling here as he does get stunned, hunted, and shipped right there, and Team Hoo looking like they will take that game number 1, but there is a little bit of cross-kill potential here, so we're not going to write them out just yet. Lizzo will surrender there, and that will be victory here in game number 1 for Team Hoo.
Man, that was actually incredibly close at the end. So many little things coming down to like the mana efficiency and everything that these healers were using. The Druid in that game, like literally first global of the game was Innervate for him, and because he instantly innervated at the very beginning of that game, when he was pretty tapped about 3 minutes in, Innervate came back off cooldown. Just shortly after 3 minutes, and he was able to get that second Innervate, keep his team rolling. And I think had he not actually done that, like right here, you can see it's 3:10 into the game, he has his second Innervate. Innervate's a 3-minute cooldown, right? So he's just instantly doing it, and that's really what allowed him to keep rolling. And then Clyde, shortly before this, he used a very early Astral Communion. That came back off cooldown. He was able to use that to top one final time to try to keep his team on the push here. But you can see Clyde was completely tapped. Vanos was completely tapped. If he hadn't used that super early Innervate, like they would have lost on mana here for sure. But it just, to me, came down so much to how Hoo was able to really deny the Ghost, right? Because what this DHDK wants to do against every healer, but Druids in particular for sure, is every time you have grip, you're gripping them in, you're hitting them with the triple blind, you're fire breathing everyone to actually strip the hots, and then you're stunning the Druid. Everyone's getting hit by AoE damage, and then you come out of that CC as a Resto Druid, and you play Resto Druid, so you know this. It's like all your hots are off, everyone's low, and you have so many globals to catch back up. But his team was doing such a good job of every time the grip would come in, from Swapsy would get stunned up, or Blizzo would get stunned up. Frankie and Existence were actually like, they were disrupting that go every single time. So, Vanos was almost always able to actually walk out of there and not get CC'd up with his team. They weren't able to get the triple fire breath to actually strip all the hots. And I think those denials completely changed the game. Because if you can actually break that up, it can start to be pretty comfortable as a Resto Druid. But if you can't, you can get run over really early by DHDK, especially with that Preservation Evoker who can strip all your hots, right? Like if you get a full stack Fire Breath on 3 people, that's 9 hots that are gone, and you don't have the globals to catch up from that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's very pressure based, and if you can deny those fire breaths, you can put the other healer kind of on the back foot. That's where you're going to be able to find those that kind of pressure and actually keep your pressure as well. And that's exactly it. They're able to break down those chains, break them up. Make sure to stun the DK, make sure to stun the DH during those moments. And, even if they get the blind, as long as they deny the stun from the Demon Hunter, then, Vanos is going to be able to walk out of there and not fall behind. And I think that's really important in the matchup for sure, to make sure that you don't actually fall behind, because it's really hard, as you mentioned, to actually catch up. When you're playing a healer, you're playing a hot-based healer as well, you don't have that many ways to actually get back up once you're actually low. You have, your native swiftness, you have your cooldowns, of course, but ideally, you want to just roll those hots, keep the early Scenarium Ward, make sure that you're staying ahead of the damage, especially when the meta is as bursty as it is right now. Yeah. And in that next game now, we are going to be going over to Hook Point here. So a small map, which kind of signals to me that we're going to see the same comp here from CGN Esports. Probably just taking their time to kind of discuss strategies here and exactly how they want to play it out differently. And now Clyde is a fantastic multiclasser as well. So maybe this is a case of where he plays maybe the Evoker one more time on a small map. And then if Team Hoo locks in a larger map for the Ele Shaman, then maybe they swap over to a Druid as well, because I do think the Druid is a little bit more efficient compared to the Evoker.
Yeah, I definitely think it can be a little bit more efficient for sure. I just think CGN just need to get those clean goes. You know, find some way to make sure that Vanos is locked in with you. Because like as you said, you do have some of those cooldowns to like catch up from burst, like NS and so on. But the big problem becomes when all three people get hit in that blender with the DHDK, and you come out of the stun, and everyone's 30% or everyone's 40%. And it's like, how do you spin your globals, right? You need to Swiftman for Solar Forest. You need to rejuve someone, then Swiftman, then NS. Okay, one person is saved. Now the other two people are at 30%. And what are you going to do there, right? And that's where you start having to sometimes dump like every cooldown at once. If you can get that perfect go, it can sometimes really take a lot away from that Resto Druid. So, you know, they need to make sure they get those perfect goes. I think that is the main advantage here to playing with the DK is that setup compared to the Ellie. Because the Ellie is going to have, you know, kind of higher steady pressure. You know, you're generally going to be putting out more DPS. You're generally going to have more utility. You kind of have that freedom to just hit whoever you want. So, you know, it's all about the setups, and CGN needs to make sure that they're getting really, really perfect setups here on every single go, because that is their way to really get momentum in the game.
Yeah, they just need to make sure to get that blender rolling and try to make sure that every ingredient is there, especially the broccoli there from Vanos. If they can get him in there.
Smoothie there.
Yeah, nice and healthy, you know. It's cold days right now. It gets dark very fast, so gotta make sure you get all your vitamins there from the Druid as well. And last time around, they were denied a little bit there, so we'll see if Swapsy can get that going. And I'm surprised, honestly, to see Swapsy actually being under so much pressure there so early on, because one of the big reasons why a lot of people are considering Death Knights to just be, you know, one of the best, if not the best melee right now, is because of that self-healing that the DK has. They're super tanky, you know. Yep. They got the Rune of Spell Warding, they got Death Strikes, they got plenty of self-heals to go, in addition to, you know, Icebound Fortitude, Trinket, also playing Dwarf usually to kind of break up a lot of those stuns and to have those kind of magic removal effects. So I'm surprised to see Swapsy actually, you know, dropping to 20%, 30% constantly early on, and actually having a really tough time getting his pressure out because he's forced to just spam Death Strike over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one advantage to going on that Death Knight is they're kind of less evasive. He's going to drop Wraithwalk immediately here. They're trying to get a setup very early on. They do get a two-man blind, but again, it's not actually catching Vanos. And Vanos, again, is going to be dropping that Innervate instantaneously, but he gets stun-feared here. Existence getting low, Frankie getting low. This is that pressure that they want. Vanos is going to pop the tree form here immediately and try to get some heals rolling here. Swapsy, though, under a lot of pressure himself. He does have the AMS and AMZ. He didn't at this point last game, and it's Frankie down to about half. Vanos just trying to heal through this as best as he possibly can. He's trying to stay absolutely maximum range. As you can see, a nice static field totem there, locking in Blizzo on his dash. Swapsy's going to have to drop the IVF. He's getting pressured really, really heavily here. Just his health is just ping-ponging back and forth, and they have to use the Emerald Communion very, very early, so that's going to be gone here already. Can they find another setup here pretty soon for Swapsy? That's going to be the key. He has the AMZ left, but it's Clyde that feels like he's under a lot more pressure. And you can see Vanos is just 40 yards away.
Yeah, Vanos just having a great time so far. He's very efficient with the mana, but Clyde is kind of tied up with him. And Vanos also going to use that Tranquility now, resetting a lot of his cooldowns with that. Going to be able to access his Scenario Ward. And his Iron Bark's going to come up much sooner as well. But Blizzo taking huge damage here. Nice blur, though, coming out from Blizzo. And here's the setup. Double Blinding Sleep. Can they get it? They do get the triple. Blizzo now going for the I-Beam, going for that clean damage across the entire team of Kugu here, trying to get them into the blender. And Vanos just going to use his Bark Skin right there. And that should be enough for him to kind of just brush that one off and keep his team going here. And you can see Frankie had to use his Astral Shift as well, so they do force out a couple of defensives here, but I'm still more scared here for CGN because CGN definitely been taking it so far. And there is the anti-magic zone as well getting dropped now, grips in onto Vanos into an asphyxiate, but doesn't actually take that much damage despite not having Bark Skin. Beautiful Heart of the Wild coming out there actually from Vanos, allowing him to survive that one. And Clyde here already dropping extremely low on mana. Vanos still looking very, very comfortable. If it does come down to mana, I would say Team Who are definitely in the lead right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, he used that super early Innervate. So his second Innervate here is up in only 40 seconds. You know, in that last grip asphyxiate onto Vanos, Blizzo wasn't on the Druid at all. You know, it was just Swapsy hitting him on a solo go, and Swapsy's getting very far behind. Triple blind, though. Can they get the setup now? There's the triple stun. Vanos going to trinket out of this one, though. They're going to grip him back in. They're trying to keep that pressure rolling, but they're not really able to get much of anything because the Iron Bark is traded out. They couldn't force that on that previous setup. The Grippians are out there trying to get something done here, but they're just falling further and further behind, not really able to get the pressure that they want. They're not forcing enough cooldowns out of these goes consistently here, and Clyde is pretty much tapped on mana. He's going to be praying to get towards another Emerald Communion, but that is 50 seconds away. Vanos has his Innervate here in 3 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised to just see him pop it out immediately to try to keep that rolling. Swapsy trying to play on top of Vanos. They know he has no Iron Bark. They know he has no Trank, and he has no Bark Skin either. So if they could get on Vanos, perhaps they could try to knock him down. But it feels like at this point, that may be their only hope, because I don't think they're going to win on mana as Innervate's popped again.
Yeah, and they're running a lot of out of time here. Vanos actually getting stunned up right there, but he does have the Innervate pop. Does manage to get a lot of healing out with that, and still on mana, he's looking good. Clyde, however, not looking too hot right now. Swapsy going to be having a couple of cooldowns rotating back up with that anti-magic zone, but is it going to be up in time here? Swapsy dropping dangerously low. Can they stay alive? Nice blinding sleet coming out here, but they're actually running with their setup. That's not what you want to see here from the DHDK. Now finally connecting there with a double asphyxiate and a fell eruption, getting a lot of damage out, but it's going to be Swapsy once again on the back foot, trying to get some death strikes out, trying to stay alive, and that's basically been the story of this game so far, just trying to keep himself afloat. And now with dampening stacking up as well, Swapsy is in a lot of trouble. His healer has a little bit of mana left in the tank. That Emerald Communion did come up and get popped basically instantly here for Clyde, but now Blizzo, he has the blur, but he can't access it in a stun. What an insane bash coming out there from Vanos, actually getting that off in time and securing the kill for his team. Blizzo could have accessed his blur there, maybe been able to stay alive if he hadn't gotten stunned there, but Vanos reading the situation perfectly there, getting that offensive play in, and that's, you know, very important as a healer. You know, you got to stay back, you got to get those heals out, you got to be efficient, but you also got to make sure to know when you have a window like that to get aggressive, go for those aggressive stuns, go for the cyclones, and they managed to find that moment right there and close it out here, even on CGN's map pick.
Yeah. I mean, it was really well done by Vanos. Then there was an adaptation from CGN. You know, I saw that on some of these goes, what they started doing, because Existence had been breaking up their blind stun combos. So what they were doing is Blizzo was incapping Existence, and so he would incap Existence, they would grip in Vanos, and then they would try to do a double blind into a triple stun. But you know what happened on one of the goes was the timing was a little bit slow. So the Chaos Nova came out first from Existence, so that broke up one stun combo. Then the next time, you know, Existence trinketed and broke it up. Then the next go, you know, Vanos is able to trinket, and they just did such a good job again of actually disrupting these goes. So they're never really able to get that kind of pressure that they want. And it started to feel like CGN was falling apart a little bit. Because we saw multiple like kind of solo goes onto Vanos that didn't really create too much pressure, and that's why, you know, on that last grip blind, like you were talking about, they were just running on it, but they had no Chaos Nova because Blizzo had used the solo Chaos Nova on the Druid. He was just trying to do a solo mission on Vanos. The grip before that, Swapsy just gripped in Vanos and solo asphyxiated him and was trying to do a little solo go on him. But you know, when they're not hitting the same target, it just doesn't feel like they're really getting that pressure rolling. They need to have those kind of brief windows where they're putting the Druid under so much pressure, where they're stripping all the hots, where they're getting all the pressure rolling, and they just don't seem to be able to do it because, you know, Existence and Frankie are doing such a good job of breaking it up. And Existence in particular, I think, is really doing an excellent job because, you know, he needs to basically either trinket the Chaos Nova and Chaos Nova both the DPS to actually, you know, find a window for his Druid, or because he was getting his off first multiple times, they had to start doing the incap on him. Then he's not in the blind, so you have to wait till the incap ends before you can Chaos Nova, because you can't Chaos Nova into it. So it was making it really difficult, right? So just such a good job of breaking it up. And I feel like once I started seeing those kind of like solo missions, that's where you start to know like the panic setting in, because they're like, oh, I gotta do something, right? So I'm expecting them to maybe change up their comp a bit, because I think 2 games in a row you've lost with it. It felt like the frustration was maybe leaking in a little bit at the end of that last one. So potentially see them mix something up. You know, maybe they'll change healers, as you said, try to play more for mana, because, you know, as good of a job as Team Who is doing breaking these goes up, it is coming down to mana at the end of the day, right? And it's really just the Druid is slightly having better mana because he's getting 2 innervates every game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you broke it down very well there, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. We see them lock in Tolvir Arena, which means if you're locking in a melee cleave on Tolvir, you're basically just throwing in the towel at this point. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think we are going to see Jamie's debut here in the AWC. And, Jamie, Frankie, these are Ellie Shaman mains. These are some of the best Ellie Shamans that we have here in Europe. So I wouldn't be surprised, actually. We could even see a mirror actually come out from these guys. And Swapsy also does have access to his Warlock, so it could be an Ellie Warlock, but I'm not sold on the Ellie Warlock. It could work. Some kind of double caster shenanigans could work on this map as well. And Clyde, he does play the rest of Druid, so I would imagine that we either see a mirror straight up from CGN, or we see maybe an Ellie Warlock with the rest of Druid, something like that. We definitely see an Ellie Shaman from CGN. I think it's time to bring in Jamie.
I think mirror would be pretty hype. Like I always think there's more on the line when you're fighting a mirror. You know, like there's the ego's involved a little bit. No matter whether people want to deny it or not, you never want to lose to a mirror, right? Because that's always people are going to look at it like, well, which one's the better team, right? Well, who won the mirror? So sometimes people, I think, as a result, can be a little bit nervous, a little bit haphazard. They don't want to bring out the mirror. We're not going to see it. It is going to be the Ellie, as you said. And because we're on Tolvaron, big map, as you said, we're probably not going to get a melee cleave. I do think this is a great map for Warlock Ellie. We'll see how effective they can be. It'll be interesting to see who they actually want to target. I do think, if Warlock's going to be playing Nether Portal like we saw in the previous games, Ellie Resto Druid have a lot easier time dealing with it. So even if the Warlock is free casting, you have Mass Entangle, you have Earthbind Root, like you have a lot of ways, even just thunderstorming away the Pit Lord and stuff. So you have a lot of ways to actually deal with that Pit Lord. So I don't think Team Hoo has to worry as much about it, which gives you more of an ability to kind of just like pick and choose who you want to go on and not necessarily worry about a big Pit Lord just like running over your team.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the big Pit Lords coming in like that. I think for CGN, it's going to be more about controlling existence and then swapping to him. We're probably going to see, hexes, fears, things like that being thrown out on existence, trying to root him, and then eventually also see some of those fell stuns come out onto existence and then try to burst him. And that's one of the scary things about the comp that CGN runs. You have a lot of control. You have, double wizards on Tolvir, and the team with the melee, they really have to, be very confident when they make those deep pushes, because if you get stuck in no man's land, that's where you're going to go down if you are existence, and usually you are on the clock as well as the melee caster compared to the double caster. So if you ever have to retreat to the pillar, that's when Clyde is going to be able to drink, and that's where Team Hoo won't actually be able to get those drinks. So I think for CGN, they're going to have those win conditions on mana. They're going to, have the control as well. The scary thing is if Team Hoo can burst somebody down. They definitely have more burst on their side. Demon Hunter Ellie, big reason why this comp is so popular here in Europe. We've seen it now from multiple teams. Creed ran this as well. I think the biggest reason is just because of that one-shot potential. The Demon Hunter can just absolutely blast someone, and so can the Ellie Shaman, and you have very, durable targets with those two when they're backed up by a Resto Druid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, CGN, I want to see them making sure that they're swapping around constantly. Don't allow the Druid to just roll blooms on the same two targets the whole game. You need to be getting pressure on different people. And I think when anytime you're playing Wizards, it's so important for whatever Wizard is not being pressured to pressure the healer, right? So if they want to go on the Ellie, you want to see Swapsy playing in between Vanos and his DPS, making it really, really difficult for him. And as you're saying, hey, if you can land all this chain CC onto existence, Hots are going to fall off him, right? Get him into the triple clone, get him in the triple root, spam fear him, whatever. Hots fall off, axe toss, turn, look for burst. Ellie's always are going to have something ready to really try to pressure. And that's where you're going to find those kind of windows of opportunity. Is out of CC when Hots aren't there. You really have to keep that pressure rolling. So we'll see if they're going to be able to do it. Positioning, as you said, really, really important for Team Hoo, because they need to be able to keep this Demon Hunter offensive, right? And that requires Vanos to be able to be up near him so he can have the ability to chase behind pillars if he needs to, has the ability to actually move in and try to look for some of these kills without, Vanos just exposing himself to too much CC.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's going to be a really tough matchup, especially for existence. He's going to need to really find those moments where he can push in, and I'm expecting them early on to try to send the Ellie Shaman a little bit more than the Warlock, but if the game does go into a little bit deeper stages of dampening, they could make a really, really big push and try to stay on the Warlock, and if they can get that uptime after the port, after the gateway comes out, and actually still stay on the target, that's where they can just absolutely run him over. Otherwise, it's going to have to be, some short bursts here onto Frankie, but already match point here in the upper bracket. Winner of this will qualify for the European finals. Loser will have to go downstairs to that lower bracket to face off against the agents. It's definitely not a place where you want to be, and we got this game live and loaded. They're going to be going after Jamie here right away on the side of Team Woohoo. Going to be testing him to see if he is cold coming in from the bench right now, and just throwing some CC onto Swapsy. Swapsy actually just trinketing out of that Demon Hunter Fear right now, and trying to just make sure that Jamie doesn't fall too far behind, getting those fears out onto existence and getting that damage right now. Also going after Vanos there a little bit as well is Jamie, and now Swapsy forced to port away, trying to get back there to his Druid onto Clyde. A big burst actually coming in there onto Vanos, but he does manage to keep himself alive, and that's one thing as a Druid in these situations. You really have to go behind the pillar and use those regrowth procs to make sure that you're healing yourself with that while rolling those hots on your team.
Yeah, absolutely. But so far, both teams doing pretty well. Existence, though, gets rocked there, down to about 10% HP. Is going to get picked back up by the NS. It looked like they're from Vanos, but Vanos, again, under pressure here. And Swapsy, is playing, I think, Tyrant cooldown reduction. He just Tyranted first global of the game, but it was great fear from Existence that just CC'd up that Tyrant, made it pretty useless on its first go. So intelligent play there from Existence, just shutting down that Tyrant, something you really want to make sure you're doing. And they're going to go back onto Swapsy. Anytime he's in the middle of the map, they really want to look to try to pressure him. It feels like they're going to try to play on whatever wizard is easy to hit. He pops that pet sack, and then they're going to be right back on a Jamie who's very far in here. Is going to have to pop the dwarf racial, it looks like, but he's going to go down. He does. There was no NS, no Ironbark remaining. Clyde had the tranquility ticking, but just not enough on a Jamie who got really, really aggressive. Felt like they got a bit comfortable there as Swapsy was the target, and Jamie was pushed in fully to the other team's pillar, and they just swapped in on him and couldn't catch back up.
Yeah, Jamie, maybe making a positional error there, going a little bit too deep, and this is what happens, right? You've been on the bench, the entire weekend, and finally you get tagged in. It's with your team's back against the wall, and that's where things like this can happen. And I definitely think he got caught up by surprise. And again, this is the meta. This is what happens when you go up against Demon Hunter Ellie. They can just do such an insane amount of damage. We saw it early onto, I think it was Existence, almost getting just blown out of the water immediately. And we can see it here onto Jamie. Already had to use that Astral Shift early on. And this is a big mistake that you can do as the double caster when you are the target who doesn't have a defensive. So Swapsy right now, he's got defensives. He's got, his Unending Resolve. And he gets knocked into another knock right there, into a bash, trinkets out. Then he gets he's stoned. That's a bit unfortunate right there. He uses his dwarf racial, his iron dwarf racial, which dispels a flame shock, which knocks him up in the air. So it actually locks him in place a little bit longer there. So Jamie definitely getting rocked there, but I think that was a typhoon coming out there from Vanos. I'm not sure exactly what happened there.
He got Thunderstorm for sure. Did he get Typhooned again? This is that moment, so we'll see what happens. But he's just chasing in so far. Like, look where Clyde is, look where Jamie is. Thunderstorm, and I think it must have been a Typhoon. And then into the bash, as you called out. And it's just like in these situations, it is so hard for Clyde to be able to catch back up. Jamie is playing on the enemy pillar. Clyde is completely behind his pillar across the map. He's going to be able to kind of wild charge in travel form, try to get there immediately. But he had no NS, he had no Ironbark, and there's just no way to really catch up when they're down that low that fast.
That was actually a gust of wind from Jamie, so he got knocked, and then he gusted. Yeah, he gusted the wrong way. Oh, that is unfortunate there for Jamie, for sure. You hate to see that. Unfortunately for Jamie, and then he uses his fire blood as well, which dispels a flame shock effect. And whenever you dispel a flame shock, your character just gets knocked up in the air there for a second. So he actually blinked the wrong way and then stunned himself, in no man's land there for a second. Definitely unfortunate there for Jamie as he does fall down. But CGN Esports are not out of the tournament yet. They will be fighting up against the agents in that lower bracket. Team Hoo though, what an insane performance from these guys coming in. This is their first season together in the AWC as a team. And look at them. They got the best seats in the house right now, already beating down the agents and already beating down CGN Esports. These are, some of the top dogs in Europe. The only team I would say that they haven't, been tested against yet is Poggers. But
that's because they're knocked out.
Yeah, that's we got the fiends down there. You know, they took care of business there. So Team Who actually going to be avoiding poggers altogether here, and now they're just going to be waiting for either a rematch against CGN or a rematch against the Agents. So either way, this is two teams that they've already beaten. So we'll see if either of those teams after that lower bracket final gets finished actually make some improvements here against Team Who, because they're looking like a clear favorite right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that series didn't feel close, right? It did feel like it was Team Hoo Hoo that really was as ones with the momentum. You know, the first couple of games were really close on mana, so you know it should be fair and say that. But it did feel like they were just doing such a good job. They were dictating the pace of the games. They were denying their opponents' goes and doing such a good job. I think of kind of like knowing what their opponents' win conditions were and playing around that, right? Like rotating their cooldowns to constantly deny it. And it can be one of those things where sometimes it's you know, you're not pressured all game, or you're feeling like you're really comfortable in this situation. You recover from burst, and you feel like, hey, I can get really aggressive here as Jamie. And you're trying to get in the face of the healer, as I said. Like they're on Swapsy for a second, so it's like, okay, it's my turn to get in the face of this Druid. But you can get punished really hard at a moment's notice. You know, you talked about why DHL is so popular because of that massive burst, and he kind of eats it right there, ends up going down. But a very surprising 3-0 for me.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to see a little bit more of CGN Esports here coming up against the Agents. We'll be back right after this break with the lower bracket final.
Aye. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, what up, bro? I think so, man. I think it's pretty decent. It's obviously a lot better if you have people to play with. If you're just alone, it gets boring, I guess, like any other game.
Yeah. So sick. I'm so sick and tired. Sick of niggas dying. Yeah, I'm so sick and tired. Sick of niggas dying. Yeah. If I name drop, they get more lit. Cause them niggas ain't big as I am. I feel like I'm blessed with a big assignment. And I work through the pain, I ain't into crying. They said it was hard, they ain't even lying. How you want it, you ain't even trying. They got me hurt, so I gotta drill. I gotta chill, cause I gotta deal. Who can I call when it's getting real? I thought I was rich when I got a meal. I want you to overstand. I gotta help you out, I can't hold your hand. Go brainstorm and make a little plan. Don't worry about me, nigga, you a man. I'm on the gram talking to my fans. Play my song, I'm hoping that they dance. Somebody got shot, I'm hoping that's his man. I'm trying to survive and focus on these bands. Yeah, nigga, shout out my daughter. I do more for them. Yeah, than anybody in this world could offer them. And I'm watching how they giving them lies. You don't know how I be feeling inside. On the real, that shit kill me inside. Try to forget, but it's sit in my mind. I got some killers that's willing to die. If you look, you see the drill in their eyes. They don't give it, then I'm still in the prize. I'm at the top, but I'm still on the rise. I gotta work, I ain't chilling inside. I hope my haters feeling the vibe. I never let them shit on the guy. I'ma do what I can a million times. I never let them shit on the guy. Yeah, I'ma do what I can. Yeah, I'm so sick and tired. Sick of niggas dying. If I name drop, they get more lit. Cause them niggas ain't big as I am. And I feel like I'm blessed with a big assignment. And I work through the pain, I ain't into crying. They said it was hard, they ain't even lying. How you want it, you ain't even trying. Look, somebody come, somebody gotta leave. I don't even know that's how I gotta be. Watch what you say when you wanna be. They take a lyric tied to the beat. And I ain't never crying when it's heat. No, I ain't never tired of the streets. I cut him off prior to the speech. And I ain't even know why he was a leech. I don't pay no attention to the media. Cause they gon' act way different when I'm meeting them. And she gon' act way different when I'm seeing her. Yeah, I tell her pull up but she come on like 3 of them. Yeah, and I'm only trying to maintain. I'm with the niggas that gangbang. Yeah, and I'm still new to this fame thing. I need a Richard Millie plain Jane. I came a long way from that A train. I don't switch sides, I don't lane change. The police just want us to name names, but we don't never play the blame game. I'm so sick and tired. Sick of niggas dying. If I name drop, they get more lit. Some niggas ain't big as I am. And I feel like I'm blessed with a big assignment. And I work through the pain, I ain't into crying. They said it was hard, they ain't even lying. How you want it, you ain't even trying.
5, 4, 3.
Off the Coronas.
Just about.
Hey,
Wait.
Mellow mommy in the deli. Hey,
Hold on.
She was horny.
What are you
Ready.
doing?
Hey. She like, why you so sexy? Hey. Hold on. Hey. I mellow mama in the deli. Hey. She was a wetty. Hey. She was horny. Ready. I was on it. Heavy. Hey. She like, why you so sexy? Fell in love when she met me. Tell your ex to come check me. All the shit get messy. Hey. Mellow mama in the deli. Hey. She was a wetty. She was on it. Ready. I was on it. Heavy. Hey. She like, why you so sexy? Hey. Fell in love when she met me. Tell your ex to come check me. All the shit get messy. Dags. I felt like I had to. Take how you put your words together so perfect, bitch. I'm playing Scrabble. I be just playing with them bitches. I dip and I dabble. They don't got beef with you, girl. It's just the reason to tag you. I'm from the bottom like rap. Rap beef, I don't tag you. Vibe, it's natural. Hey, brand new drip. I need a brand new bitch. 350, E-class. Jerry got a brand new whip. I got the flexing on him, no inbox, sending messages to him. Hey, when I step up on him, got a shimmer with me. He better do him like that. I put the weapon to him, we be running fast and he better do him like that. But you can never get away. They know I'm heavy on the straight. I'm probably moving with the trace. Getting boom you in the way. I put the shooters in your face. Hey, Fabi, I'm lace. I'm all over the place. Tito, car, speed, race. I met little mama in the deli. Hey, she was a wetty. Hey, she was on it. Ready. I was on it. Heavy. Hey, she like, why you so sexy? She fell in love when she met me. Tell your ex to come check me. All the shit get messy. I met little mama in the deli. Hey, she was why you so sexy. Ayy, fell in love when she met me. Ayy, come check me. Ayy, I know she love me on the low. She keep on loving on my posts. She say me and her on this cash boy, cause I'm always gon' ghost. This is what you do? I love the money the most. Got the curry, I'm a gold. Hold on, wait, dope stepper. Tito and Sosa, the salt and pepper. I spent the right cause we go together. I'm getting dressed, I ain't know the weather. Home rain, with a Henny in my system, make it go ever. The ops hit me, you know I'm better, you know I'm better. Ayy, with me mad. I knew she'd love me to death. Look at the way that I step. All this drip when I dress. Ayy, flex, fast, Fabi, next. And I put that on the set. Ayy, she need me. She told me she need me. She give me whatever I want. She a genie. Ayy, gotta pay for a feature. No freebies. I like how you move. Fabi, teach me. Ayy, I met Lil' Mama in the deli. Ayy, she was a wedding. Ayy, she was on it. Ready, I was on it. She like, why you so sexy? Fell in love when she met me. Tell your ex to come check me. All the shit it get messy. I met Lil' Mama in the deli. She was ready. She was on it. Ready. I was heavy. She like, why you so sexy? Fell in love when she met me. Come check me. All the shit it get messy.
The elements answer to me!
For me, like,
Look at this nice arena.
yeah,
What are these birds doing here?
We ain't doing none of that no more. We going viral now. Ever been to the moon? Yeah, I got something for you. Take this. Yeah, take that. Go viral. Make a movie.
Bobby, I love you. Why are you so sexy?
Ruined the place.
I don't know.
Some niggas some change on me. I never thought he would change on me. I was doing this money with a brain on me. I get deep in my thoughts, I can brainstorm. I've been on and off the grid. I've been out the wasted. I've been accepted what he needs. I've been a stepper since a kid. I've been a stepper since a kid.
It's the better selection. You got an army, he hire a shooter. If he got the drop, then he had no run. Niggas can die in a matter of seconds. He gon' answer me no matter the question. I drove the guard and I had to confess. More money, more problems, I'm mad at the bless. I prove my body on a proven ground. Since a youngin' I know how to move around. Get the attitude, pull up and shoot him down. Better watch how you moving that hookah lounge. Show me in person, come do it now. You keep your little word and then do a vow. Nigga, why you think I feel like you a clown? I would never agree with what you allow. A big gap. If he wants space, I'ma give him that. I don't never want none of you niggas back. Niggas switch, you see me, she get attached. And these niggas is fiending to give me that. But he down on the little bitches, get him gas. And they want me to be the bigger man. No apologies. And they want me to share this in my Instagram. So blue shot it didn't land. And I know they gon' cry when it hit the fan. I was young, but I grew with different man. Niggas hating like, how did he get there? He was working, They said I don't fuck him, but he's not a virgin. He was a kid that he grew to a person. He had to get rid of the snakes and the serpents. He had to fuck all the bitches that curve him. He cut them off cause they didn't deserve him. They didn't deserve him.
Feel like some niggas some change on me. I never thought he would change on me. I was doing this money with a brain on me. I get deep in my thoughts, I can brainstorm. I've been on and off the grid. I've been out the way instead. I've been accepted what he needs. I've been a stepper since a kid. I've been a stepper since a kid.
One down on him. Bitch, I'ma step till my soul's crack. I be trying to cool out on that savage shit, but I cannot control how the bros act. Took too many losses, can't hold back. Fuck all the cap, these cold facts. Remember back then, nobody showed up. Hit the stage and now all of my shows packed. It's too easy to drill shit. They should know I'm from Chicago. I was walking through blocks trying to kill bullshit. I was really at the stew with Pop Smoke. They could go ahead and keep on gassing him up till his ass getting filled with hollows. All this fame be too much to deal with. They clout chase, but the truth what I know. I'm with my steppers and we like a band in the field, cause we drumming and ready to march. I know some niggas that change, they know what to feel. Left me with the heaviest heart. I had to grind all the nights just cause of my skill made it look like it's barely as hard. Look up and I took off on all of these niggas. I know that they wishing I left it in part. Gang.
Feel like some niggas some change on me. I never thought he would change on me. Always knew this money would bring on me. I get deep in my thoughts, I can brainstorm. I've been on and off the grid. I've been out the real estate. I've been accepting what it is. I've been a stepper since a kid. I've been a stepper since a kid.
Look, you know I love a taker. She got the buns I admire. I'm at the bun, I bet you call. I'm about to say Audie the wire. You know I love a tiger. I stood on her ass like a tire. She like Poppy on fire. She like Poppy on fire. Louder than the church choir. I do a drill shoot. Then I change my tire. Look, she threw that ass back in a quick sec. Change her clothes and then make a Snapchat. Then she gon' talk about it on her Facebook. I'm like, baby, I thought we was past that.
In jail, I was low-key, Shout out to supporters that wrote me. Eat food, work out, and then go sleep. You know I'm praying, he carrying both feet. Yeah, we got God with us. They look at me and see a God figure. And when I start vibing, I know that he with me, and I'ma always catch a hard shiver. I know it's demons in that dark liquor. We buy a bottle and a sword, switch up. Everybody turn into a harsh nigga, but my pocket's bigger and my heart richer. My mind smarter, I grind harder, and my car quicker. I'm at her in church, she pray for me. She my God sister. Yeah, I'm only trusting the people I keep close. Niggas selling their soul for a repo. Remember when I was broke wearing cheap coats, and I was diamonds and houses and C notes. I'm feeling marvelous. They let the monster loose. They call me a product of my environment. I tell them no, I'm what God produce. Defense good and the guards can shoot. I put them on you, it get hard to move. Tattoo on my face is the mark of truth. Gotta watch what you say when they mark you. I already predicted this. Y'all only witnessed it. Look, got a couple old friends that I'm not really clicking with. I know they pray that we settle our differences. Pray that they lower all my niggas' sentences. I got some demons I'm not even dealing with. They ain't feelings I'm not really feeling it. I know some members that get back their membership. Nigga, you switched up. Like how you not feeling me? Look, I act like I care, but I don't really care. Now I live in a new building with amenities. I got a new ceiling with a chimney. I got a few niggas wanna finish me. I don't get too friendly with the enemy. Gotta move different when you in the industry. Oh, yeah. You gotta move different when you in the industry. You gotta move different when you look. God bless me with amazing grace. She fell in love with my day to day. I just want my problems to fade away. Man, I'm tired of niggas. I need Gatorade. Boy, I got on my feet and I made a name and I made it a necklace. When you from the bottom and you working hard just to get to the top, then they gotta respect it. If you got a voice, then you gotta project it. If you got it wrong, then you gotta correct it. If you got a name, then you gotta protect it. If you get me shocked, then you gotta elect. Trying to live a new life, so I got a new plan and I gotta finesse with love. Yeah, cause they want me to lose, they ain't part of the rules. I be trying so hard not to move reckless.
We off the grid, this for my kid. Everything we did for the crib, did hit. Flexing with biz this trip. Going Greg 6 or G6. Lit level 76. Eat squid this and ass the shade this. Ticket strip for this. You won't see it lit. Don't want the bread. Off the grid.
First it go viral, then it get digital, then it get critical. No, I'm not doing no interview. Mask on my face, you can't see what I'm finna do. Had to move away from people that's miserable. Don't wanna link you, I ain't finna sit with you. Ain't finna talk to you, ain't finna get with you. Don't get me mad cause I don't wanna injure you. She put my paintings inside of a living room. Look at the problems and issues I'm living through. They try to drag me, I rise to my pinnacle. Walk through the block like the neighborhood general. Draw me the low end and that's where I send it to. I was forgetting you, now I remember. Did what I want and I say what I want and I thought out of selfishness. I just bought a flow out of selfishness. I gotta make sure they know who they messing with. I gotta tell them sorry, they too delicate. I gotta stay with God where the blessings is. I ain't delivering heavenly messages just for the hell of it. Don't try to test me. I keep it clean, but it could get messy. I talk to God every day. That's my bestie. They playing soccer in my backyard. I think I see Messi, and this money could never neglect me. I pray that my family would never resent me, and she fell in love with me soon as she met me. We both got a bad, but my bag is more heavy. We had to stop counting, it's getting too petty. You not a real stepper, you can't overstep me. Just sit back and listen and watch how he bless me. He wait till I fall in and pull up and catch me. Your check is too small, you can't pull up and check me. Nah, I get him fast, see. You feel a weight and can pull up and give me. Might do something wild if I feel like you press me. Nah, I get him fast, see. You feel a weight and can pull up and give me. Might do something wild if I feel like you press me. We off the grid. This for my kid. But when my kids had kids, everything we did for the crib. Pray for what folks them did. Only thing we pray, God forgive, give. Man, God forbid, bid. They hit one of the kids. Took off a slid. Look what they did. Pray for the crib.
Look, I stayed at home fighting my demons alone, praying. I stood alone watching the wolves in my zone. Now I'm on. That's just how the gangsters do it. I'm running. The devil took everything he wanted. 10 toes down, I've been 100. And every bag I get, I'm going running. Look, cause I've been dripping and balling. I can't give up. No, I ain't slipping or falling. I can't be us. I can't be us. I can't be us. God sends signs and I read them. Cause they can't do nothing to you unless you let them. You're supposed to give them one chance and then dead them. Shit, I gave them like 7. Shit, I thought they were my brethren. Destined. It was in my heart, but I cured that infection. I could've lost it all when a nigga got arrested. That's why I thank God for these awards and these blessings. Wanna rap too, cause they see how rap changed my life. But lightning never strike in the same spot twice. Can I live? They said I couldn't do it, and I did. Bitch, I'm the same fire foreign since a kid. Bitch, I'm the same fire foreign since the crib. Started shining and them niggas stopped coming to my vids. I remember, nigga. Them niggas know what it is. I stayed at home fighting my demons alone, praying. I stayed alone watching the wolves in my zone. Now I'm on. That's just how the gangsters do it. I'm running. Devil took everything he wanted. 10 toes down, I've been 100. And every bag I get, I'm going running. Look, cause I've been dripping and balling. I can't give up. No, I ain't slipping or falling. That can't be us. Can't be us. I can't be us. Let me tell you what's emotional. That they could only touch you if they close. I'm $1 million man, nigga. Look at what these vocals do. The first time you ever said my name, I was over you. R.P. Lakima. R.P. Vet. I was raised by an angel. I was taught by the best. And when Bang went to war, they almost shot him to death. And he laid in my door on the floor by the steps. It's real, nigga. Thank God for all my real niggas. I pray that God give me strength so I can deal with them. I don't know who gon' backdoor, so I don't feel niggas. But I done been through so much pain, I start to heal quicker. I know they mad over the brand. Nigga, I'm mad that I ever gave you a chance. Yeah, I love this life, but I choose my family over my feelings. Nigga, that's what make me a man. I stayed at home fighting my demons alone, praying. Watching how the gangsters do it. I stayed alone watching the wolves in my zone. Now I'm on. That's just how the gangsters do it. I'm running. The devil took everything he wanted. 10 toes down, I've been 100. And every bag I get, I'm going running. Look, cause I've been dripping and balling. I can't give up. No, I ain't slipping or falling. That can't be us. That can't be us. I can't be us. I can't even express myself with nobody, 'cause I don't know who really cares for real or who really just cares because I'm me. So I keep my feelings to myself. I do this music though. I need to see my family, that's the most important part. And I like inspiring others. If I did it good, I came from nothing. I'm the nigga they hated. They hated that I made it. They couldn't stop this shit though.
Axel.
Not like y'all, you're not like us. Gun not trust. Stop. Gun not trust. Stop.
Pull on my legal pad and jotted all my pain down. Attempted suicide, I tried to blow my brains out. Transportation made illegal, cash on Greyhound. Don't like the bus no more, I travel on the train.
Not like y'all, you're not like us. No. And the gun not trust. I'ma come right up. Gotta watch you this gun might bust. Everybody on the floor. We don't knock, we shoot through the door. We give a fuck who the king in New York. I say what I mean when I talk. The hood ain't showing no remorse. Gunfights in the hall. Bullets going through the walls. My niggas crippin' full course. Yeah, we got this bitch on all fours. See we on. They do what I told them. Of course, every team we dot every eye and we watch every corner. Look, we made a home safe, you don't know that I'm good when I call in the morning. Niggas know I always call in the morning. None of my niggas in the morning. One up, scoring, shot good, Jordan, ball. And we can put diamonds in our crosses. You see what happened when they cross us? Losses. They taking losses. I turn my niggas into bosses. They think I made it out. The bro do a hit, I'ma pay him out. Look at what they allow. He never sit up, he get bailed out. Free JD out the jailhouse. I can win until he sell out. He need a pack to send the mail out. He need a pack to send the mail out. You're not like y'all, you're not like us. No. And the gun not trust. I'ma come right up. Gotta watch you this gun might bust. Everybody on the floor. We don't knock, we shoot through the door. We give a fuck who the king in New York. I say what I mean when I talk. The hood ain't showing no remorse. Gunfights in the hall. Bullets going through the walls. My niggas crippin' full course. Yeah, we got this bitch on all fours.
Just know my precedent got heavy, please don't think of me no more. New collective in perspective, this ain't nothing like before. On location, I've been slanging cocaine, I'm on tour. Yoga poses made intentions to surrender on the floor. Release the tension from my shoulders, ain't no settling the scores. I grew older, heart got colder, love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here anymore. Thought I saw the finish line. Ain't no finishing these races. My feet hurting every day. Barely sleeping, I've been pacing. Back and forth, back and forth. Can't move forward, going in circles, traveling back and forth. Home's where the heart is, then I ain't got nowhere to stay. Maybe one day find a place, searching for a new escape. Nothing's making sense as of late. This time knowing I'ma be okay. I done got in shape, doing great. Disregard my emotional state. Gratitude, I done found a way to smile, even though I had a bunch of hard days. Hey, free finesse 2 times. Ricky Harris. I'm riding a rental car. Strapping my lap with that eye, and I deliver rock. The gutter up on me. All of these players around, and they on me. Windows are maybe with it. My grandmother loved me, she say I'm amazing with it. I made a great decision. A bright independent, I'm standing on nation business. Shout out my brother Slim. Can't take what we was, like flip on a butter rim. They put me in jail for it. Although I was innocent, set in the cell for it. Guess I done learned my lesson. Button go eat, closing the cell door. I turned me some trash in the cash, I went bought her ass, and she bought me a bag. Now we advancing. Hands on the sway when I'm up in them racks, I'ma get some Chanel for. I can't complain, cause I made a bunch of mistakes with the women I fell for.
We not like y'all, you're not like us. No, and the gun not trust. I'ma come right up. Gotta watch you this gun might bust. Everybody on the floor. We don't knock, we shoot through the door. We give a fuck who the king in New York. I say what I mean when I talk. The hood ain't showing no remorse. Gunfights in the hall. Bullets going through the walls. My niggas crippin' full course. Yeah, we got this bitch on all fours.
like mimosas and she like 42. Fresh out of college, she just turned 22. I told her, you need a nigga that's gonna elevate you. She said, fuck 12, but I love my niggas in blue. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe for me. Bandana on the left side. I'm a sinner, you a vice for me. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. Bandana on the left side. I'm a sinner, you a vice for me. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. I could teach you what to do, I could tell you how to be. She want frozen margaritas every time we out to eat. And every time I gotta go, she say she pulling up with me. I let her come once in a while. Look, took her out of town and she ain't loving me now. When she got some bad habits, cause she was fucking with clowns. When she get her attitude, she be coming out of her mouth. I'ma play a little game, just don't step out of bounds. I'm a gangster, yeah, look. You fucking with a gangster, baby, just embrace it. Just embrace it. Yeah, look, you could be my gangster lady. She like mimosas and she like 42. Fresh out of college, she just turned 22. I told her, you need a nigga that's gonna elevate you. She said, fuck 12, but I love my niggas in blue. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. Bandana on the left side. I'm a sinner, you a vice for me. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. Bandana on the left side. I'm a sinner, you a vice for me. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me.
Bandana on my left side, we outside at bedtime. In and out the lane, dodging demons in them red eyes. Baby, I'm a big dog, ain't fucking with no small fries. Every time I hit a bad bitch, she tell me good lies. Niggas tryna line me up, ain't checking with the deadline. I been sturdy with a few 4, 5 Glock 9s. You know you safe with me, 223s go through tough guys. Last nigga tried to play with me, had a tough time. Hit him in his face for the shade to let my sun shine. All I wanna do is make the age to see my son child. Niggas getting gunned down for trying to put their gun down. I can make a bitch walk from here straight to Youngstown.
She like mimosas and she like 42. Fresh out of college, she just turned 22. I told her, you need a nigga that's gonna elevate you. She said, fuck 12, but I love my niggas in blue. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. Bandana on the left side. I'm a sinner, you a vice for me. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. Bandana on the left side. I'm a sinner, you a vice for me. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. Bandana on the left side. I'm a killer, but you safe with me. Been looking for somebody like you, don't let me excite you, but baby, you viral. There's nobody like you, if nobody like you, then baby, I like to. Take you through Brooklyn and Paris, my money is tall as the Eiffel, the man in the mirror, I'm nothing like Michael. But baby, you viral. Can I get a hello? 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 Whether you knew it or whether you know it, I need you with me and it's hard not to show it. I move like a demon and talk like a poet, and if you ain't going, it's no one to go with. I'm moving with confidence. I'm never hesitant. You got the perfect little body and measurements. Know I'm a gangster, but I get affectionate. I got buttons, you don't know that you pressing it. I wanna take you and show you my residence. Be outside, we gon' move like the president. Wanna record you and show you the evidence. When you get with me, everybody gon' know you. We can go viral, or we can go global. Most of her exes is local, and most of them niggas is scared to approach you. I take you too high, they can't touch you or hurt you. I take you too far, they can't reach you or curse you. I got too much money, I deal back curse you. Yeah, I know it's worth it. I don't know how you be looking so perfect. I don't even think that you do it on purpose. Been looking for somebody like you, don't let me excite you, but baby, you viral. There's nobody like you. If nobody like you, then baby, I like to. Take you through Brooklyn and Paris. My money is tall as the Eiffel. The man in the mirror, I'm nothing like Michael. But baby, you viral. Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello?
Talk to me nice. I just might make you go viral. Raising your price. Being with me is so vital. Oh, it look good, don't it? The whole damn world want it. So show me how you gon' own it. I just want you on it. Baby, now. If I let my guard down, don't let me down. You're saying all the right things, so show me now. I don't care about the life. Just want you to treat me right. I'll give you more than a night.
Been looking for somebody like you, don't let me excite you, but baby, you viral. There's nobody like you. If nobody like you, then baby, I like to. Take you through Brooklyn and Paris. My money is tall as the Eiffel. The man in the mirror, I'm nothing like Michael. But baby, you viral. Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello?
The right words come to me just like, yeah. Remind you in case you don't know. I take this moment instead of before. Yeah. Trusted it with it, I trust. Down on my last, I split it with you, ain't being irrational. Stamps on your passport, around the world, you turn international. She was lit in the city, now she fucking with me and she going viral. More communication, we gon' always need it, told you that it's vital. Unfamiliar faces, we don't need the extras, told you don't invite them, yeah. Told you bring your problems, put them in the ring, and tag me in the fight, yeah. Your feet in the water, toast us, saying hands on the, yeah. Your feet in the water, toast us, saying hands on the Bible.
Been looking for somebody like you, don't let me excite you, but baby, you viral. There's nobody like you. If nobody like you, then baby, I like to. Take you through Brooklyn and Paris. My money is tall as the Eiffel. The man in the mirror, I'm nothing like Michael. But baby, you viral. Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello? Can I get a hello?
Flashing lights, bigger stage, world watching, streets a maze, rolling dope, living life, another day, another dollar, another fight.
Yeah, she couldn't stop. I pray to God that I see it out. He think he's shining my niggas on time when we take everything but his sneakers and socks. Mention my name when you speak of the block. Picture my face when you reach for the Glock. I could just do it and act like it's none. They acting like Fabi is easy or not. I got a story now, I never tell it. I got a soul and now I never sell it. I see them hating, they watching, they jealous. Like how you get $1 million on the debit. How you get 1 million views on the edit. You marry 1 million bitches without a wedding. He got 1 million bitches in the section. That's like 1 million bitches to have sex with. I got some demons that's hotter than me. They keep on waking me out of my sleep. I look on the gram, they ain't hotter than me. Cause I'm killing the fit and I bite the feet. And I bite the feet. Killing the fit. Yeah, look, all of my shooters alert. If I tell them I pay them the money, they doing the work. Bullets biting and chewing the shirt. Show up the funeral, shoot at his hearse. I chill with the bitches and roll my niggas and hang with the baddest and move with the worst. So to your baddie, she wish she could have me and ask for a name and I Google her work.
Flashing lights, bigger stage, world watching, streets a maze, rolling dope, living life, another day, another dollar, another fight. Flashing lights, bigger stage, world watching, streets a maze, rolling dope, living life, another day, another dollar, another fight.
He was on Sunset with a pistol. I turned a check boy to a victim. Hope you can
can tell that I'm not finna play with you, bitch ass nigga. We slide tonight. We put that laser on top of the Glock and we slid on the weekend with blinding lights. I'm trying to bury a nigga. Get out the block cause you ain't from this area, nigga. Get shot in the stomach. That's a miscarriage, little nigga. The fuck is you staring, little nigga? For the record, I might have to trust all the niggas that say I'm an industry plant. They say all my cars is rented. I guess they ain't used to know young niggas having these racks. These niggas be trolls, we fucking ain't hoes. They get on the internet, go on a rant. He try to approach, he gon' get turned to a ghost. Cause I got this bitch in my pants. I probably punch a nigga if he glance. I'm finna shoot, don't worry about my stance. I got my bro a new Hellcat. When you hop in this road, put your hair back. I was in the hood when they told Glock and they said crack at the same motherfucking house. When we in the club, I go through the back door. I don't trust nobody, I'ma pick your ass off. Right now I'm in Vegas, trying to get a bad bitch to come through. Maybe she can take the edge off. I ain't got no money when she go to the bathroom. I'ma take off, let's hurt the head home.
Flashing lights, bigger stage, world watching, streets of Maine, rolling dope, living life. Another day, another dollar, another fight. Flashing lights, bigger stage, world watching, streets of Maine, rolling dope, living life. Another day, another dollar, another fight.
We used to dance together. The parties never ended. The lights flashed and we danced with not a care in the world. Then things changed. Normality disappeared. The dancing stopped. We went into shock and disbelief. But then the healing began, and an awakening, a global meditation. We all struggle sometimes when we're afraid, lonely, or angry. But they are just thoughts, and these thoughts do not define you. Take them away, and all that remains is love. The need for connection, with music as a guiding light. Let go of any anger. Let go of disbelief. Let go of pain. Let it all go. There is only now. There is only this. There is only us. So, as the lights turn back on, let us all learn to dance again. Embrace the beats and melodies. Be as one and totally present together.
This was your year, 2021.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, stop. Stopp, nicht so weit nach hinten.
Okay, let's go.